A Chrissy Costanza highlight. Hi, I'm James Lynch and welcome to this PocbooksCrypto update moment. Today we're going to just take a few moments to talk about a Chrissy Costanza and something that was considered just good business back in the day, and especially if you came from a hometown, should I say a small hometown, which a lot of persons who live in the country will appreciate. And this is so important to talk about today because it is something that you can do sometimes in smaller areas or smaller metropolitan cities and things of that nature, that it just seems like when you talk about doing it at times in a big city type of environment, people might look at you a little bit differently, like, what? Why would you do that? Well, I'm going to explain this to you along with this other highlight that I'm going to share with you today. You know, when I first started writing my books, which, I've basically written a whole bunch of this and that over the many years. As I've explained, I've written about real life scenarios, and I also, have some background in gathering facts and resources of different things. But when PocbooksCrypto came online in 2010, then it was more so of creating, not only fiction books, because that would be the main thing, but I would still do nonfiction reports from time to time. However, the fiction books were always going through my mind in a way that could have narration done to them. You see what I'm saying? A fun way of theatrics and drama and all that other stuff, because hey, people watch TV, people watch movies. Well, I've also in my life enjoyed audiobooks, and I know, from hearing some of the stats over the years, people do. They still enjoy audiobooks and podcastings and things of that nature. Sometimes they don't even realize that you can actually get a subscription to even places like Audible, where you pay a certain amount a month or a year for, and you can just listen to some very nice books. Well, with that in mind, I just wanted to let you know that I'm getting back to what persons would do sometimes in smaller arenas or smaller towns and farms, is when you're interested in, getting somebody to do something for you at times. Now, I know this may sound like quid pro quo, and it does work like that at times, yet really, there's a genuine way of doing things at times if you have an interest in a product or service that someone is offering. I can give you the example, and I'm thinking about mentioning his name, and maybe not, but you'll probably know this example that this man had given that I want to tell you is the same way that I've done things over the years when it even came to book narrations or persons that I might have been interested in. That this man told the story of, it was a field he wanted to go into. He didn't have, the experience or the clout, at the very least, to get into that field at the time. So what he did was he just still went every day and just kept offering his services and was willing to do stuff for free. And yet, he bugged the person so much, that the person had given in by, I think, was it the third or fourth day or something like that. And then he ended up having his opportunity, as he, did certain things, for the man, whether it was even stuff like coffee. Isn't that interesting? So here's the point. With PocbooksCrypto, I've talked about different ways that you can probably get business and interest at times. That's never really been my main focus because, I talk about a variety of things, even real deep subjects. But this is one of the things that I really want to emphasize all the same. Be willing to, show your interest in the product. And sometimes you might have to do some things that would, just be free. You see what I'm saying? And and persons who may be also interested in what other type of services that you, are providing, then they may end up finally, contacting you or letting you know, hey, I want to know about this or that. And that's the way it's worked, quite a bit, like I said, in smaller areas. Now, granted, I won't go too much into it. When you get into the big city life, so to speak, it does get different. And some of those very things that I consider great and best, tips and business practices in a small town area setup, it's not always viewed that way in the big city. And that's what I want to make you aware of. So getting back to, like I said, PocbooksCrypto.com. I do want to share something with you that over the past 4 years or so, I've written different things and even shared Chrissy Costanza's Against the Current music. Okay. And so with that though, normally, I kind of keep a portfolio of works and things that I've done. And see, and that's another thing that I encourage you to do too. Have somewhere where you can save all your information or even these good deeds in its way that, works towards your profession. Keep them with you. You see, even if you didn't get paid for anything that you were doing, because you were doing it just as showing your service, you give different things away free, even in marketing, whether you knew that or not, that you can always keep your own stats of, this is what I did. This is what I learned from this. And also this is what maybe the person even appreciated about it. So when it comes to currency, remember, currency is not always monetarily, but it's really, once again, acknowledgments, sometimes another word of mouth, maybe the person who you were actually looking to work with or the company you were actually looking to work with. Maybe that didn't work out, but then you end up finding out there's another person over here that would fit the bill perfectly. So this is why you actually do other things as an entrepreneur and even in marketing, why you even, give out services or products even free at times, because it's just a nice way to get your word of mouth out there. So with that, I just wanted to say, even though I've written several articles on Against the Current and Chrissy Costanza over the years, I just wanted to make a show of this little animation video, because this is one of the things that I can't believe I've never done. Because, there's been other artists I've done things like this on, where I'll do a podcast and then I'll make some type of animation video, what have you, to go with it. And I just realized, I said, boy, I never did that. And I just want to do it. With all that being said now, okay, I'm going to go ahead and, at least let you hear of a couple of things that, were posted in 2020, because Chrissy Costanza does have a new show called Guest House. And Guest House is exclusively on Vine. And so I just wanted to share that one podcast announcement that I made. And then on top of that, because she is also a model and brand model, products and things of that nature. And Beth, who is a professional photographer, who also shares her work on Instagram, etc. I wanted to share, with you the whole word of mouth results that happens at times. Why entrepreneurs and professionals do the things that they do at times, even if it's like a gift of a service or a free service, you can still see the results. So I really want you to pay very close attention to that podcast. The one is Chrissy Costanza, Shout Out Beth. Have a wonderful day and enjoy. Greetings, I am James Lynch, the author of Sage in the Matrix, Life and Times of Baby Lucas, also the James Commentary of Fundamental Readings. I just want to let you know that there is a new show that will be arriving soon, August 5th, that Chrissy Costanza, which you have seen featured before on the Product of Culture website over the years, will be having an original show as part of the lineup. Basically, this channel will involve 24/7 network for gaming, streaming, esports, and entertainment. 20 plus hours of original programming. And they have a 50,000 square foot studio where you can also watch it anywhere. Well, Chrissy Costanza's show will involve, first let me give you the name. It is called Guest House. Guest House on Vin. And she mentions that she will be hosting your favorite musicians, gamers, athletes, creators, and you can just basically hang out. All right. So this is something or a shout out I wanted to share with you to make you aware that yes, at August or on August 5th, boy, that's just about a month or so away, there will be a new show called Guest House hosted by Chrissy Costanza. Much success to her new venture, and I'm sure you'll be hearing some very exciting music, with new music coming from her throughout the year, most likely as well. I wouldn't be a bit surprised, but then again, she already announced that she does have new music coming out. Her and her band ATC or Against the Current. I just wanted to share this as much success to you, Chrissy Costanza, in your venture. Chrissy Costanza shouts out Beth. This is a PocbooksCrypto update moment. Hi, I'm James Lynch. In one article called Word of Mouth 2020, it talks about the value of word of mouth advertising. In it, it states that word of mouth advertising is natural when you like something. It also states in that article of a quote from entrepreneur.com. It states, word of mouth is triggered when a customer experiences something far beyond what was expected. Slightly exceeding their expectations just won't do it. You got to go above and beyond the call of duty if you want your customers to talk about you. Now, there was a social media post from Beth who was so happy to receive a shout out from Chrissy Costanza. Why? She states in this post, one of the biggest and hardest learning curves in this profession is working with clients who love you as much as you love them. Of course, there's times you take a gig because you need to or to enter a certain space. But I cannot stress enough how good it feels to be supported by clients. The more both parties care about an end product, the better that end product is. Sharing images, etc. basically. Now, along with that, Chrissy Costanza actually returned a reply to that post that was on her social media page and even said about that she causes persons to even be better human beings. Talk about a shout out. With this thought though, do you know what else is involved with word of mouth advertising, marketing that you don't hear? Mostly we take it from the aspects of how do we give that experience that triggers persons to naturally go out and talk about our product? What is it that causes them to do it other than just our above average customer service? Well, On the customer side of things, it is gratitude. Gratitude because the customer experienced something that was so above the board of their treatment and honor and dignity. And certainly Beth gave that experience to Chrissy Costanza and vice versa for them to have gratitude for one another, and they wanted to express it. So think about it in that way in everything that you do when you're actually having interactions with people. Are you doing something that will give them value? And we're not talking force value, because it is different from a professional setting to just an everyday setting. But is it something that even in an everyday setting that someone can feel, boy, I am so happy. Or once again, I do have gratitude for the service that I just received from this professional. This is a PocbooksCrypto update moment. You have a wonderful day.